Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare go, chant while you can. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
I go, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, I go to Hari Bo. I go to Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, I go to Hari Bo. I go to Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Shri Harinam Mahamantra ki, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki, Gauradas Harmonium ki, Kartal players in the front row ki, Hare Krishna singers ki, Go Premanande, Nitai go to Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai go to Hari Bo. I offer my respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to all of you, because you are Vaishnavas.
Hope they won't fight with each other. You got to put it on. I can't see. And therefore are the most worshipable in the three worlds. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being here. Great to see you all. So, we're working through the Yagadas. The Yagadas for creating a great future in your lives and in the society, the great society of ISKCON. So the first Yagada for today is Yagada balance. And what's very helpful, or I will rephrase that, which is what is essential for balance, is knowing where you're going and knowing what your main goals in life are, prioritized down to your most cherished goals in life. And would you like me to prove to you why that's important? Okay, only 5 people. So the rest of you, while I go through the rest of the exercise, I want you to cover your ears, close your eyes, and pretend I'm not here, okay? So those of you who are interested, I want you to stand up for a minute. Dare I pull this off? At the risk of not having sound for the rest of the day? Okay. Now, oh, Krishna. I did it. I blew it. Okay. Now, please feel your 2 feet on the ground and notice how you're staying relatively stable. And then stand up on 1 foot. Be careful. And just see how it feels then. And I want you to feel your ankle. Is it moving at all? Is it twitching back and forth a little bit? Okay, put your foot down. And maybe go up on the other foot now, or whichever one you like, to balance on. Stay on 1 foot. Lift that second one up kind of high. Now, gently, and watch out for your neighbors, close your eyes and stay balanced. Close your eyes. Don't be afraid. It'll be all right. Everyone's laughing. Was it harder the second time? Yes. Okay, let's sit down for a sec. We talk about balance, and Krishna talks about it in the Gita. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. He says, if you're yukta, you're regulated, balanced, there's a way in which you can overcome the dukkha, the miseries of life. And this exercise is to show how important vision is in balance. And it's actually a fact. If you practice balancing, and it is a good idea, it's a very interesting exercise to see how the balancing mechanism is working in your brain. But if you stand up and you look at a place on the wall, like a dot or something, you can balance a lot easier, even on 1 foot. And when you close your eyes, and I've been working on this, if you focus on 1 point, even with your eyes closed, then you'll notice that you'll be able to keep your balance. And you'll see, with a little bit of practice, and with being able to focus on 1 place, then you'll stay up longer and longer, for longer and longer periods of time. And the way this translates into our daily lives, there's 2 lessons. One is that balance doesn't mean necessarily standing absolutely still. As you'll notice, when you're balancing, your whole body's involved in its adjusting constantly. Like there's multiple muscles in your legs that are twitching remarkably. I mean, who knows how it's going on? It's just an amazing machine. But you can observe it, and you can see how that twitching and the way that you're rebalancing your shoulders and your hands like this, just involuntarily practically, is helping you to stay up. So the first thing is, we can't expect as we're moving through our lives that we're going to be perfectly in the center all the time. There's a way in which we will slightly move from side to side, or even sometimes we'll tumble over to one side or another. Possible? Okay, a few people. And so the real trick in balancing really isn't that you stay perfectly still and then there's an absolute perfect alignment, but there's a way in which you know how to pull back to the center. And when you know what that center is and you're focused on it, then you can stay balanced. Everybody needs to have a home button. When Apple took the home button off the iPhone 10, people freaked out because they're feeling around down there. There's no home button. Where is it? And we all need that. We need a place where this is where I pull back to. This is my center place. Where I know what's right. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know where I'm going. So balancing means knowing where I'm going and developing the wherewithal to pull back to the center. Another example, maybe it's cliche, but it's helpful in this context, and that is with air travel. When airlines fly from, for instance, San Francisco to New York, all cross-continental flight, they're always pulling back to the center. It's not that they're always on center, it's that they're always pulling back to the center because they know where it is. There's a straight line and they're not always on it. They're usually not on it. But it's not that you have to always be on it. You always have to know how to pull back to it. And about toppling in devotional service, Bhagavatam discusses this in many places. As an example, 11th canto, Sapada Mulam Vajita Priyasya Kaktanya Bhavasya Hare Priyeshaha Vikarma Yachchot Patitam Katanchid Tunoti Sarvam Hridi Sandivishta. What an encouraging verse, which we hear that if something goes wrong somehow or another, and that's how it's put in the Bhagavatam, somehow or another something comes up, knocks you off course, then what's the remedy? Just get back on course. That's it. That's all that's mentioned. Go back on and do what you know you're supposed to do. Continue practicing devotional service. And Sanivrishta, because the Lord has entered within the heart, He'll rectify you. A little more philosophical point. So here's some practical tips on developing balance in life by knowing where you're going. One is the age-old practice of brainstorming. And I learned this many, many years ago by a mentor of mine who told me to get a legal pad and a pen and find a room where I could be by myself. And apparently we're having a competition. And then sit down, close the doors, turn off everything, and put a do not disturb sign on the door. And these kinds of measures are helpful in a lot of practices, including in our sadhana. Just knowing that I'm taking the time for myself to center and absorb in sadhana. And in this case, to brainstorm and find out where I'm really going. Oftentimes at corporate events where I'm speaking, I do an exercise where I do a guided meditation, and I have the participants with their eyes closed go into a state of meditation, and then I take them to a desire tree and I explain what it is. That the desire tree will fulfill all your desires, whatever they may be, and they have them sit down comfortably there and become aware of the nurturing tree above them and so forth that is ready right now to fulfill any desire that it may have, that the person may have. And then I ask the question, what do you want? And I see a wave go through the audience. It's visceral. People, sometimes I see them move on their chair. And invariably, when we come out of the meditation, I ask them for reflections. And so many of them said, when you asked me, what do I want? I had no idea. I really don't know. And I ask people often when I'm there downtown San Francisco at some of these events, what if we went on the street corner and just asked people, what is your primary goal in life? I don't have time. Get out of my way. I'm fine. It's possible to go one full day without knowing what my goal of the day is. Do you suppose? Is it possible? We have a definite consensus in the front row. What about 1 week? Going without really being clear where I'm going, what my primary goal in life is, and being aware of it. Is that possible? 1 whole week, is it possible? Please say yes if you please vote with gusto if you're going to vote. Okay. How about 1 year? Possible. Could you go 1 year? Sarv, what your opinion? Yes? Sarv, let the record show. Sarv is saying possible. How about 10 years? Yes. How about 50 years?
Yes.
How about a whole lifetime?
Yes.
It's possible to zip through one life. How about multiple lives? No wonder Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam, the living entities are loitering here in the material world. You know what that means? Just hanging out with no good purpose. There's signs at the 7-Eleven that say no loitering. It's just people hanging out in the parking lot. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And so the humans can get together and say, enough of this. No more loitering for me. I'm going to decide what I want to do. In fact, that's the most exciting thing about being a human, is at any time you can decide which direction you want to go. And you can change course at any time also. You can just decide to do it. And here's the simple way to do it. Get a legal pad and a pen in a room and a do not disturb sign and put one on the door and tell everyone I'm not coming out for an hour or 2 hours. And it's such a relief to actually decide for yourself for a change what you want to do in life, rather than waiting for somebody else to tell you what you should do or your senses to suggest some really stupid stuff. And once you decide, it starts your journey of balance because you're focused on what you really want to do and where you really want to go. So take the pen and the pad and just start writing. Don't judge yourself. Just get the ideas down on the pad. And once you have them all down there, then you can start going through and reevaluating them and say which ones are the most important. And this is really powerful. Let's just say you wrote down 30, 40, 50 things because, hey, you can do that. I mean, human life means unlimited potential. So you could do whatever you want, really. If you have knowledge and practice, you can develop all kinds of skills. You can go any direction you want. But let's just say you get them all down and now you decide, well, now I'm going to circle the top 3. And you circle them and then you get a new piece of paper and you write those top 3 at the top of the page. And that now becomes your focus and you're the one who decided. And so you can go on from then looking at those items and deciding what's my plan, how am I going to get this done. Now this is not just on an individual basis that one can do this. If you do it with a group, let's just say you wanted to start a project at in your community somewhere with a small team that you have. And you get those who are vitally concerned with the idea you have, and you lock yourselves in a room and you get a whiteboard or a chalkboard, and then you just start coming up with ideas. The rule of brainstorming is there's no bad ideas. This is interesting. If someone ever invents a microphone in ISKCON that actually works, you'd be wealthy enough to fund the rest of the TOVP. Stay. If you do it with a group and you start writing down your ideas and then you go back and prioritize them, you have yourself a legitimate, forward-looking and energized mission to work on in life. And it brings the energy once you decide what it is you specifically want to do and what the most important parts are. Now, another aspect, if you're doing it individually, is once you prioritize this, is to make it very visible for yourself. Because we get distracted very easily because there's a lot of options in this world. And we're a particular kind of energy of the Lord. What's it called? Tatasta. What does tatasta mean? Marginal. And another term for tatasta or marginal is open to suggestion. We're very open to suggestion. If someone comes up and says, hey, Prabhu, why don't you stay here in Mayapur and work on my project? Like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. And you call your temple president, what are you talking about? I sent you over there for 1 week. Well, the guy suggested it. Because anything we hear from the environment, we can pick up on. So if you want to keep going in a particular way and stay balanced because you have vision, what am I shooting for? Get it clear. You're the one, it's your life. You're the one who gets to decide. And once you decide and you write it down, then you put it up so you can look at it. And what if you looked at it as the first thing in the day? For instance, the Panchatric system, you don't just roll out of bed and it's like, hey, what's happening? You start before you open your eyes, and Jaiti Jana Nivaso Devaki Janmavaro Yaruvara Parishat Swara Dorbira Sanya Dharmam Stira Charavijinana Susmita Shri Mukena Rajapura Vanitanam Vardayam Kamadevam. This is what the Panchatric says. Pancharat Vidhi says, when you open your eyes, say that verse. Then say, Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ki Jai. Then put your left foot on the floor and say, Dear Mother Bhumi, please forgive me stepping on your surface. You start off going in the right direction. Focus. Where are you going? My friend Satyadev says, as soon as he gets up, he looks at a picture of Prabhupada and he says, thank you very much. You try this. And you'll see, you start off going in the right direction, then look at your goals and say, where am I going? Now here's another trick. Start your morning the night before. Because you're never the same person in the morning that you were that night. Who knows where we go when we fall asleep? Off into monster land, and I always dream I'm running for a flight, I can't find my ticket. All kinds of things happen in that subtle plane, and we wake up like, where am I? It's like a little mini death, and you're starting all over again. So do yourself a favor, yourself at night, do your morning self a favor. Get yourself aligned that night, knowing that morning self is different from evening self. So one thing that you can do is put your goals right where you'll see them right when you wake up. And just try this. It's homework. Are you open for that? Say yes. Yes. And so when you wake up and you look at your goals and see how you feel, just see how you feel about your life when you look at it and you say, hey, that's what I decided to do. It's reasonable. I thought it out. And these are the 3 things that I'm interested in. And there it is. You can look at it. And here's what else you can do is put everything out the night before that you plan to use in the morning for your practice and for your sadhana. See, I learned this from my father because when we used to go on vacation for a few weeks, we'd drive away from our house in Northern California, usually during Easter break. We go down to Mexico or something in our VW microbus. And then my father would make our family clean the whole house before we leave. Everything had to be spotless. And as a kid, I always thought that was weird. And I say, why do we have to clean the house? We're not going to be here. But then when we come back in the door, after a few weeks, I remember, I see and who cleaned the house? Some really nice person. Oh, we did it. So same thing, the way you treat yourself and your environment at night, when you wake up in the morning, you'll thank yourself and you're already in that balanced groove because you know where you're going. You helped yourself out. And we have to take it day by day because at any time we can be knocked off course. Little jiva can just be pushed any direction or by degrees can go off. So to stay balanced, you have to help yourself. Set your goals and know where you're going. Now, here's a couple more suggestions in this category because I have a few more yagatas. And one of them is, anybody here familiar with the way the U.S. government is set up or parliamentary governments? Oftentimes in the executive branch, there's what's called a cabinet. Does anybody know what that means? Prabhu, Prahlad Priya, Prabhu, what is a cabinet? Like just say the President of the United States has a cabinet, we're not talking about a mahogany chest, right?
Individual administrators to carry out.
Say more about, like, what would they be doing, perhaps?
Some would be doing national security, some would be Secretary of State, some would be Secretary of the Treasury.
Okay, that's good. Do we have anything like that in ISKCON as an organization?
Yes.
Like what?
The GVC?
And? Minister. Yeah, a few people.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes. So why not have your own cabinet? Why don't you have a cabinet yourself? Why not choose some people in your life who are very expert in certain things and say, listen, I'm forming my own government because I'm going to govern myself from now on. And I'm wondering if you would be on my cabinet. And you can collect cabinet members from around the world. There's no geographical limitation. And find these experts to help you. Say, can you help me to move forward towards my 3 primary goals? And would you be on my cabinet? You'll find that most people are delighted to be able to weigh in using their expertise and guide you if you ask them nicely. So you also need, if you would really like to be balanced and go forward in an organized way, a Magna Carta. Who knows what the Magna Carta is? For 500. It's a constitution. And Prabhu, you want to say more. You're going to give details and dates.
I don't know if it
He's
was
a scholar.
dates. I think it was the 14th century.
Yeah.
And it was a document that was issued by the King of England that gave private citizens the right to own their own land.
That's right. Exactly. You know where that is? That piece of paper? It's in the U.S. Archive. You can look at it. It's actually available in in Washington, D.C., in the, what is that museum? Library of Congress? National Archives. Yes, it's a beautiful building. Amazing. And if you walk in the front door, you'll find the Magna Carta framed and under, bulletproof glass, probably bomb-proof too. And near that is the Constitution of the United States, which is based on the Magna Carta. The whole experiment called the United States of America is based on a document. And that grew out of an interest in another document called the Magna Carta, where someone decided to declare their own independence. So we can similarly do that. We can declare independence from the tyranny of the census. And people just telling us stupid stuff, which way to go. We can decide which way we want to go. Make your own Magna Carta. Sign it, put it under glass, put it wherever is most prominent, bow to it, whatever you have to do, but make that your statement that this is what I'm going to do with my life. Now, even if it's simple, don't think you have to have, an advanced degree or, have some special formula. It's an expression of your own will, which is the most powerful thing that you have. One thing is you have Krishna to back you up, because he's there within your heart. He'll fulfill any desire you want. If you want to become, for instance, not you, but if one wanted to become, for instance, a dog, Krishna would reluctantly offer you through the agency of material nature, the body of a dog. Would he not? Is that possible? Is it something that's going on all around us? So what if you were very clear about what you wanted and where you wanted to go, you wrote it down, and you told Krishna, this is where I want to go? Would he help you? Say yes. Yes. So this is one of the ways to develop balance in your life. You can execute many of these disciplines within an afternoon. If you wish, you can always revise it later and make it better. Madhuripura, you have a very pensive look on your face. What do you think of these suggestions so far? What? Okay, he said Ki Jai. Let the record show. So what is the first yagata for success in a better future for you and for ISKCON? Take the microphone. We're going to take a few reflections. A reflection isn't a question. Question takes us in a different direction, slightly different, but a reflection just means anything that you heard so far that stuck in your mind. You thought it was either interesting or helpful. And then you can reflect it back. It could be a word, a sentence, but not a Bhagavatam class. Go ahead. We'll get you the mic in 5 seconds or less, or your money back from this seminar.
The idea that tatasta means open to influence.
That's right. Open to suggestion, we say in America, and open to influence is just the fact that little jiva is floating around and getting influenced this way and that. And unless little jiva makes a determination of which direction he or she wants to go, then you're sure to be knocked silly. Vyavasayatmika buddhir eke hakurunandana bahu shaka hinantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Krishna assures us, if you're not sure and certain about where you're going to go in many directions. And there's an old adage, if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either of them. Think about that, but not for too long. Okay, what else? More reflections. Madhuripur is weighing in. Get the mic back to him quick, 5 seconds or less. 3, 2. Thank you.
Don't greet the dawn without a map.
Yeah, don't greet the dawn without a map. Means decide where you're going the night before. I know it's a discipline. You're tired at the end of the day. You think, let me just go to sleep. But even if you just scribble something and say, this is what I'm thinking, just start off with what you can do. Don't neglect to do what you can do just because you can't do everything. But start with a little bit and you'll see how helpful it is to help yourself. Because humans can do that. Okay, what else? A couple more reflections. Yes, Prabhu. 4, 3, 2.
I have worked over the last few years on the greatest mental tapasya ever regarding preparing oneself in the evening for the next day. That's to turn off your phone at 9 p.m. and not turn it on again until 8 a.m. in the morning.
Let's give this beautiful devotee a round of applause. Everyone who wants to break free from the screen, let's hear it for him. Break free from the screen. Freedom. Thank you. A couple more reflections. Yes, 1, 2. Well, we better do. Okay, up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But where's the mic? Because now we're down to 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.5. Come on, up here. Raise your hand if you're going to speak. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Grab it. Grab it. Go. Go.
Balance doesn't mean to be stand still, but to know how to get back on track.
That's right. And don't be discouraged. Prabhupada writes in the light of the Bhagavat that missteps may not be detrimental. They may be the pillars to success. Of course, he told one of my godbrothers who got initiated, then came up to Prabhupada personally and said, I can't follow these 4 regulative principles. You know what Prabhupada said? It has to do with balance. He said, one day you will walk. That's all he said. And this devotee is extremely strong and a shelter for so many others. And Prabhupada's statement, one day you will walk. Babies take a little while to figure it out. And so do new devotees. And new means, we're struggling along, and we know that every time we get back up, we get stronger, we learn from the experience. There were a couple more over here. Yes.
After planning everything, share your plan to Krishna to get the balance.
Exactly. If you tell Krishna exactly what you want, he'll help you. When I first joined the Hare Krishna movement in San Francisco in 1973, the book distribution revolution was just really taking off at that time. Right, Sarva? Sarva is noted as the first pioneer of really big book distribution. He distributed 138 big books in one day at O'Hare Airport and other places around Chicago. And then news got back to Prabhupada. It was record-breaking, and he noticed it. So there's... now, I had a point to that, and I really got distracted because I was glorifying... What? Right. So then... when we heard these, that was way before that, One time he distributed 6 big books, and that was a record-breaking thing. We had an Ishtagoshti at our temple to find out how he did it. Now, we heard from San Francisco that somebody in Los Angeles was distributing 40 big books a day, and at first we said it's impossible and we don't believe it, but then it was verified. So what I did was, I made my japa space in the book room, and I got 40 big books, and I stacked them up. And every morning I used to sit there in front of the 40 big books, and I just chant to the 40 books and say, Krishna, please show me how to distribute these 40 books in one day. And I did it every day, and then one thing after another happened where I learned how to do it. And this is how we move forward. We know what we want, good point. And then we pray to Krishna, please help me execute this. And we can move forward. It makes life exciting when you're pushing. In fact, most of the oxygen in our Krishna consciousness movement comes from taking a risk for Lord Chaitanya. You take a goal that's a little beyond your grasp, and then you decide whatever I have to do this, I'm going to do. And you pray to Lord Chaitanya, and you make all the plans from your side. And then when he makes the arrangements, not only our capacity, but our faith grows. And we start to see that this is not based on ordinary kind of strategy, but it's something that Lord Chaitanya is involved with directly. Thank you. Then there was 2 more? 1 more. 2. 1, 2.
Declare independence against the tyranny of the senses.
Yes, Eric Fromm once wrote that there's freedom to and freedom from. So there's the idea that I want to be free to do whatever I want, right? Right? You can say yes. Okay. But initially, what's more important, all the way back to the back, what's more important is to have freedom from raga dvesha vimuktaisthu vishayan indrayaishcharan atmavashera vidhyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Krishna says, follow the regular principles of freedom, then you'll be really free. And so many other verses. Nayam deho deha bhajam liloke kashtan kama marate vidbhujamye tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shudyad yasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. Rishabhadev says, do tapasya to get free from the influence of the material senses. And then you'll get saukyam anantam, unlimited happiness. This is the excitement of life, right? Okay, was 1 more back there?
It was very similar to her. It was the whole mood of the Magna Carta and presenting a mission statement that we want to declare.
Exactly. And it's elusively simple, but profound. As soon as you declare in writing what you want, your whole life will change. You'll feel balanced. You'll feel energetic when you wake up in the morning. You'll know which way you're going. You'll be able to run faster, jump higher. Everyone will notice you walking into the room and say, what happened to you? And you'll just say, I decided where I'm going for a change. And won't that be an exciting day? Gaur Premanande Haribo. Okay, ready? The second Yagata. Let's take a stretch first. Everyone stand up. Reach your hands like this and try to touch the ceiling. Reach nice and high and say Gauranga. Okay, bring your hands down. And then change your fingers. A little different alignment and stretch up high towards the ceiling. And this time say Gauranga so loud it scares the people next door. Okay, let's sit down. Hare Krishna. Navina, how much more time do we have? Oh my God. We're not used to such short meetings. Okay, the next one is you gotta learn. What was the first one, by the way? Yeah, you gotta balance. Second one is you gotta learn. Because human beings are little learning machines. And here's a few tips for learning. One is an attitude of learning, and it's taking the life lesson instead of asking, why me? Have you ever been in a situation and then the first mantra you said is, why me? Who said yes? Prabhu back there? Here, give him a button. Go give him a button. Raise your hand. He admitted it. All the way back there. There's two ways to react to getting knocked around by life. One is to say, why me? And the other is to say, what's the lesson? And if you stay in the mood of what's the lesson from this, then everywhere you go in life, you'll be educated. In fact, Krishna mentions this in the story of the Avaduta Brahmin, that his intelligence was so refined to see the lesson within everything, that every aspect of nature and all the incidents that he was involved in, that he saw in life, were all teaching him how to come closer to the absolute truth. And if you just ask this one question when something happens to you in your life, what's the lesson? You'll notice that it'll keep you going towards learning rather than feeling despair and feeling like you're the victim. The second one is, go slow to go fast. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Krishna tells Uddhava, Sve Sve Harikaryanishta Sagunan Parikirtita Viparyas Dosha Syad Ubariyor Esha Nishchaya. Esha Nishchaya. It's a fixed principle, says Krishna, that if you go at the speed that you can now, according to your adhikari, that's a good quality. And my Madanga teacher used to scold me every 2 minutes for speeding up. He kept saying, go slower, go slower, go slower till you get it right. And then naturally, when you feel you're in that zone where you can't do it wrong, then you speed up. So the same process is there in devotional service recommended by Krishna. Find what you can do consistently and well. And you don't have to do everything. Even in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, we read the other day, did we not, Nagar Kirtan, that out of 64 items of devotional service, there are 5 that are particularly potent, so potent that even if you have a little contact with them, even if you don't have faith in them, but if you're not offensive, then you'll have success. And then he says even 1. So if you can take what you can do and do it slow enough so you can do it right and be fully conscious for it and invested in it, then when you do your devotional service, it'll be edifying, it'll be satisfying, it'll be interesting, and you'll naturally make advancement to the next level. The question always is, how do I advance to the next level? And the answer always is, by acting properly at the level I'm at now, and then naturally I'll move into the next category of advancement by doing what I can do slowly and with surety at this very moment. The next principle, I'm flying through these, is always be learning. This goes along with the mantra. What was the mantra? 3 words and a question mark.
What's the lesson?
What's the lesson? Everyone say it.
What's the lesson?
Say it again.
What's the lesson?
One more time.
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 What's the lesson?
You could do 1 round like that. Because if you get used to that, wherever you go, something happens, you go, what's the lesson? Instead of going, why me? You say, what's the lesson? So you're always learning, but always you practically understand that the ear holes look very small, don't they? But once you go inside the ear hole, the space is unlimited. There's no limit how much you can put in. Don't limit yourself. Don't say, I'm permanently unqualified, I can't learn, I can't memorize, I can't remember anything. It's not true. It's just a matter of practice. And if you remember that this ear hole is magical, if you put information in here, it goes in your heart, you have a machine that starts to process it. And you have Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right there in your heart, ready to tell you the answers. It's like taking an SAT test with the head dean sitting there with the answer sheet saying, here's what it is. And he'll just tell you what it is. So keep taking as much as you can within the ears by hearing, hearing, hearing. Here's another lesson. When you think you're done, I got this from my Badanga teacher. When you think you're done, you're done. So be perpetual lifetime learner. Don't think at a certain age, I can't learn anymore, that I've been in the movement this many years, that was it, I read the books before, or whatever it is, keep learning. And here's one of the ways that you can fill in gaps and always be learning. Always keep something with you that's interesting that you can learn and memorize. For instance, and I have verification for this, I'm not making this up for this seminar. I have shlokas right here in my pocket. I'm about to produce them for you. Are you ready? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Here they are. 2 shlokas, well worn. I didn't scuff them up just before this seminar. Look at that. They're dog-eared. There's highlight on them. There's writing on the back. And they're wearing out. But as they're wearing out, the stuff that's on them is going in here. Because just in the last few days, walking back and forth to the Vaishnava Academy, myself and my loyal, trusty helper, Nagar Kirtan Prabhu, back and forth. We're saying, what's on the page? He's quizzing me, I'm quizzing him. And by the time we've walked a mile together, we know something we didn't know before. Use the gaps. Whatever gaps you have, fill them in. Because you'll find, if you start counting all the gap time you have in your life, you have more gap time than you do Bhagavatam class time every day. And if you're prepared for it, always be learning. And you're ready for it, like just say someone says, I forgot my hat. I'll be right back. What does that mean, right back? It can mean anything. I mean, I went upstairs, the door was locked, there was a flood. They came back a half hour later, right? Meanwhile, there's 2 choices. You can be down there thinking, you know, that idiot said be back in a few minutes, and now it's half an hour later. And I also see people waiting in line at the post office. Or this is the other crazy thing. You're getting ready to get on a flight. You're going to sit where you're going to sit, right? What's the difference how fast you get on, really? I mean, you know, what if it's going to crash? You still want to get on really fast? So people are like pushing to get on, and I got to get on first. But I'm standing in line, go, take your time. I got stuff to learn here. Stay absorbed and always be learning. Be prepared for the gaps at every minute. So the second you gotta is you gotta learn. The human beings are learning machines, and it's enriching stuff that we're learning from the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, since we're running out of time, I'm going to the third yagata. Are you ready? Yes. Say yes. Yes. The third yagata is you gotta have fun. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta swapna babodasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Included in that, Krishna says, he who recreates too much or too little is out of balance. So you have to take a little time to recreate yourself. And, you know, you got to have a little fun in Krishna consciousness. You can't just be a stick in the mud all the time and be a dull person. So here's a couple ways to have fun in Krishna consciousness. But we've run out of time. So I thank you very much for coming. Navina, how much time we have left? 8 minutes total. Okay. The first one is give prasadam wherever you go. This one's a no-brainer because prasadam, I mean, everybody likes prasadam, even animals like it. And human beings, I was traveling with the BBT group through Asia. We went to all these places and it was all last minute. Not like I like to travel, but I had no choice because I was with a group. And we just show up at all these airports and then try to get on the flight. I hate that. In any case, we're in the Korea airport. I kept myself busy. I had a huge bag of prasadam, little candies, and I was giving them out to everybody. Apparently people never experienced that in some countries. You know, big, huge American walking up, be like, here, have a candy. But I was hitting everybody in the whole airport, just keeping myself amused. And there was something going wrong at the desk there. The rest of the party was there, and they were fighting over whether there was a seat or no seat left for all of us. So I didn't know what was happening, but I just was giving out systematically all my candy prasadam. So I walked up and I just leaned over the desk and I put one in front of the booking agent at the desk. And she didn't look up, but she saw the candy. And she goes, all right, I got you a seat. And HG Prabhu, real joker, he grabs another piece and puts it in front of her and says, can we have an upgrade? That's fun. And wherever you go, if you just give out prasadam to everybody and anyone, wherever you go, just take a big bag with you or bring a trailer, whatever you have to bring, but get prasadam. Prabhupada authorized this in 1972. Bhatta Gopal Prabhu saw the Salvation Army giving out candy canes, and he said, they give out candy canes, we're going to give out candy canes. So then he started doing it, and the devotees started complaining and said, you're bogus, you can't give out karmi candy. And so, of course, it got brought to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada wrote a letter. It's in the Veda base, so he said, what is the harm? He said, all the time in India, we buy simple sugar candies from the store, offer them directly to deities, and offer to the public, so you can do too. So from that day was born, could I have a lollipop, please? I have lollipops. I'm walking my talk. Give me a lollipop, please. This Nagar Kirtan, give him a hand. A big hand. It's Nagar. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. This is a lollipop. I haven't found one living entity on earth that doesn't welcome a lollipop, and that includes monkeys. In Vrindavan, if you go like this to the monkey, like flinging it really fast, they're so adroit, they'll catch it. Here's slow motion. They catch it, open it, and like that. If you want to make friends, distribute prasadam. It's a secret weapon. If you're shy about telling people about philosophy or selling books, just distribute prasadam wherever you go. Your life will be just exciting all the time. Well, what are you doing now? I'm going to the store, but my real purpose is give out more prasadam. Everybody gets a piece. And just see how your life brightens up. Here's the second way. You got to have fun. I'm writing a book with this title in my head. Never miss a chance to dance. I mean, who gets to dance? We do. Say it. No, he started it. So when I say who gets to dance, you say we do. Who gets to dance? We do. Who gets to dance? We do. Come on, a little more. This is like a protest. Who gets to dance? We do. Who gets to dance? We do. Who gets to dance? We do. Yeah, nobody else does. They're all walking down the street with a tie around their neck and a briefcase, and you want to dance. And I go, what are you talking about? I got to go to work. We get to dance. So never miss a chance to dance. And I'm going to show you a few dance moves here. Are you ready? Yes. I'm not convinced. You're not interested at all in singing. Yes. All right. Okay, number one, let me reintroduce the Swami step. Nagar, would you assist me here, please? I need somebody to hold the microphone. Now, this is a much overlooked step for dancing, but Prabhupada introduced it. All you have to do is side by side to side like this, right? Is this very difficult? It's a very sublime move. Prabhupada did it. And then at intervals, you can put your hands up like this. What do you think? This is the Swami. Okay, now watch a little variation on the Swami. Watch the feet behind. You like it? Okay, now, if you want to be a little more spiritual, I learned this from a volunteer. We were having Harinam in Toronto, Canada. This student, young woman, came up. She said, this is fantastic. Can I join in? We said, sure. She danced for 3 hours, and she had this special dance that I saw her do, and I thought, this is a good one to adopt. She goes like this and like this. It's a very sublime dance. And then I learned from my friend Gopal a little Odissi move. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, you put your hands like this, and then it's a hop, cross, cross, hop, cross, cross, hop. Do you like it? Yes. How much do you like it? Okay, then stand up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Now, One foot behind the other. Variation. Be careful. Keep your balance. Krishna, Krishna. Then when you're dancing like this with your hands up, all your cares and worries will go flying out of your pocket, out of your heart into the air. Now are you ready for number 3? Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Let loose, let loose. Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram. Get ready for Odissi. Jump. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Good. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai, Hari, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pull it back. Right in front of my mouth. Nitai Gaura Haribo. Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Shri Harinam Mahamantra ki, Shri Mayapur Dham ki, never miss a chance to dance ki. Go Premanande! Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Thank you so much for coming today. I won't forget this, that we all got together here in this vortex. This is a little launching pad, in case you didn't know, to the spiritual world. If you stay in this center section and you keep chanting, you'll just be sucked up to Goloka Vrindavan. But try to bring a few friends with you before you go up there. Keep spreading the holy name and treat all the devotees with kindness and all living entities that you meet with compassion. Thank you. Gaur Premanande. Vanchakalpadurvishya, Kripasindabevacha, Patitanam, Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.